The stars hung like distant jewels against the black canvas of space. Among them, a human ship called the Horizon moved silently, its engines glowing blue against the darkness. This was humanity's first journey beyond their solar system, a historic moment that didn't go unnoticed. The Galactic Council had watched Earth for years. They had strict rules about meeting new space travelers. For 30 years, they had done this 17 times with other aliens. It always worked the same way. Send a big ship, show off their power, and watch the new species beg to join their club. Ambassador Zex Toll stood on the command deck of the massive council ship. His gray skin reflected the light of nearby stars, and his 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he prepared to meet the humans. "We approach the human vessel now," said a pilot. "Communications ready." Zexful smiled with his thin lips. "Excellent. Send the standard greeting pattern. Use the prime number sequence." On board the Horizon, Captain Frank Miller sat in his command chair. He was a calm man with steady hands and a thoughtful face. The ship's alarm sounded as the sensors detected the alien vessel appearing from nowhere. "Captain," called Susan Harper, the ship's engineer. "Unknown vessel just dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly ahead of us." Frank nodded and turned to Alan Boyd at communications. "What do we have?" Alan, a young man with quick eyes, checked his screens. "They're broadcasting, sir. Mathematical patterns. Definitely artificial." Kate Daniels, the ship's scientist who studied alien life, moved to Alan's station. Her eyes widened as she watched the signal pattern. "It's a greeting. They're making first contact." The crew looked at Frank. This was the moment humans had wondered about for centuries. First contact with aliens. According to movies, they should answer immediately. Establish communication. Share information about Earth. Frank stood up and walked to the main window. The alien ship was huge, at least 20 times bigger than the Horizon. It glittered with strange lights and unknown technology. "Sir," Alan asked, "should I respond to their signal?" Frank turned to face his crew. His expression was serious. "No. Remember our orders." 3 months earlier, Earth's United Space Command had created the Silent Protocol. If aliens were encountered, human ships would not respond. They would observe, collect data, and return home. Earth needed to learn about the galaxy before joining any conversation. "Continue on course," Frank ordered. "Adjust slightly to maintain safe distance, but do not acknowledge their presence." On the council ship, Zextol waited for the human response. 1 minute passed, then 5, then 20. "Ambassador," said Junior Diplomat Frill, a smaller alien with tentacle-like fingers, "they aren't responding." Zextol's skin darkened with anger. "Impossible. Send the greeting again, stronger." The council ship broadcast its message again, the mathematical patterns repeated at higher power. The human ship simply adjusted its course slightly and continued forward, as if the massive alien vessel wasn't even there. "Perhaps they don't understand," suggested Vril. "Their technology might be too primitive." Zextol slammed his 3-fingered hand on the control panel. "No, we've studied their communications. They understand mathematics. They should respond." For the next 6 hours, the council ship followed the Horizon, sending message after message. The humans never answered. They continued their mission, taking readings of nearby stars, collecting data, and completely ignoring the increasingly frustrated aliens. Finally, Zextol ordered his ship to return to Galactic Central. "This has never happened before," he told his crew. "In all council history, every new species has answered our first call. These humans," he paused, his voice growing worried, "these humans are different, and different is dangerous." The council ship disappeared into faster-than-light travel, leaving the Horizon to continue its journey. Inside his private quarters, Frank Miller recorded in his log, "First contact made. We followed silent protocol. The aliens seemed confused by our lack of response. They don't understand that humanity has learned an important lesson from our own history. Those who speak first rarely speak from a position of strength. 6 months passed. Things changed quickly. Human ships started showing up all over the outer parts of the galaxy. The Galactic Council couldn't believe what they were seeing. Doug Williams, a human with a friendly smile and sharp business sense, set up a trading post near a star called Proxima Centauri. He traded Earth goods for alien materials. When council officials came to check his permits, Doug just smiled and continued his work. He didn't answer their questions or acknowledge their authority. Just doing business, he told his human workers, keep to the protocol. No official contact. Not far away, scientist Diane Russell led a team of humans into colorful clouds of space gas called nebulas. The council had marked these areas as too dangerous, but Diane's team went anyway, with special ships designed to handle the harsh conditions. Log everything, she told her team as they collected samples from the beautiful but deadly clouds. Remember, we're not here to talk. We're here to learn. When council science vessels approached them, the humans simply moved to another area of the nebula, continuing their work in silence. Most concerning to the council was Greg Peterson, a human military officer. He supervised the building of what looked like watching stations near areas that different alien groups argued over. These stations had powerful sensors, but no weapons. They just watched and recorded, sending data back to Earth. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. The room was filled with representatives from 200 different alien species. At the center sat Security Chief Mordrath, a large alien with rocky skin and glowing red eyes. These humans are everywhere now, he shouted, pounding his stone fist on the table. They take what they want. They go where they please. And they still won't talk to us. The council members buzzed with angry voices. No species has ever ignored us like this, said one member. How can they expand without our permission? Asked another. Counselor Ixel, an old alien that looked like an octopus with 12 arms, raised a purple tentacle. We should send military ships to stop them until they agree to follow our rules. The council voted. They would create a boundary around the areas where humans were exploring. 3 of their fastest battleships, called Enforcers, were sent to intercept a human science vessel studying a dying star. The human ship was called the Nova. Its captain was Lisa Patel, a calm woman with quick thinking and steady hands. When the council ships surrounded her vessel, she didn't panic. Evasive pattern Delta, she ordered. The Nova moved in ways the council ships couldn't follow. It spun, accelerated, and changed direction so quickly that the Enforcers couldn't keep up. Their targeting computers couldn't lock onto the human ship. Meanwhile, Lisa's crew continued their research on the dying star as if nothing unusual was happening. John Rogers, the ship's navigator, looked up from his controls. "Ma'am, they're sending more messages. Getting pretty angry now. Should we answer them?" Lisa didn't look up from her data screens. The star readings were more interesting to her than the alien ships trying to catch them. "No," she said firmly. "We follow the silent protocol. We watch, we record, we learn. We don't talk until we understand who they really are and what they really want." The council ships eventually gave up trying to catch the Nova. They recorded the entire event and sent it back to Galactic Central. The council leaders watched the recording in shocked silence. Not only were humans ignoring their rules, but human ships could also easily outrun their military vessels. This had never happened before. "These humans," whispered Mordrath, his rocky face cracking with worry, "they're not just ignoring us. They're studying us. But why?" Back on Earth, all the data collected by human ships was being gathered, organized, and analyzed. Earth leaders looked at reports about council trade routes, military strength, technology levels, and political divisions. "Keep watching," the Earth leaders ordered their ships. "Keep silent. Soon we'll know everything about them, while they know nothing about us." The Great Hall of the Galactic Council shone with light from 1,000 glowing orbs. 200 alien species filled the room. Some had scales, some had fur, Some had skin made of crystal or metal. But today, they all shared one feeling: fear. High Chancellor Rex stood at the center. His tall, thin body was covered in blue robes. His eyes, all 6 of them, blinked nervously. "This meeting will come to order," he shouted. "We face an emergency unlike any in our 15,000 years of rule." The aliens quieted down. Rex pointed to a large screen showing human ships appearing in different parts of the galaxy. "These humans ignore our laws," Rex said. "They take what they want. They go where they please. They build without permission." The aliens muttered angry words. "And worst of all," Rex continued, "they refuse to talk to us. This silence is an act of war." Meanwhile, humans continued spreading throughout the galaxy. They dug minerals from asteroid belts. They built research stations near strange stars. They started small colonies on empty planets. The Council decided to try one more time to talk with the humans. They sent their best diplomat, Ambassador Ilara 7, to Earth itself. Ilara was from a species that looked almost human, except for her silver skin and eyes that changed color with her mood. Earth leaders allowed her ship to land in Geneva, where the United Earth government had its headquarters. Ilara was taken to a meeting room where several humans waited. Paul Martinez was the first to greet her. He was the Secretary of Space Affairs, a man with a friendly smile but careful eyes. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador," Paul said, shaking her hand. "We understand you have concerns about our activities in space." Ilara's eyes turned red with frustration. "The Council demands to know why you refuse to follow proper diplomatic procedures. Your silence threatens the stability of the galaxy." Maria Johnson, the director of Sinological Research, smiled at Ilara. She was a calm woman with short gray hair and a kind face. "We're simply gathering information before making any official agreements," Maria explained. "Our rules require us to fully understand potential allies first." "That is not how things work," Ilara said, her voice rising. "The Council decides the rules for membership in the galactic community." Richard Bennett, the Defense Secretary, leaned forward. He was an older man with a serious face and strong hands. "With respect, Ambassador," he said quietly, "we've been watching the Council for some time. We've seen how you treat less advanced species. We've noticed differences between what you say and what you do." Ilara's eyes turned purple with shock. "You've been spying on us." "We prefer the term research," Richard said. "Before Earth joins any galactic organization, we need to know if its actions match its words." The meeting ended badly. Ilara returned to the Council with troubling news. The humans weren't ignoring them because they didn't understand. They were deliberately staying silent while they studied the Council itself. Back in the Council chambers, Chancellor Rex couldn't believe what he was hearing. "They're studying us," he shouted. His skin turned purple with rage. "Like we're some kind of experiment. They claim they need to understand our true nature before committing to any relationship," Ilara explained. "This is unacceptable." Rex slammed his fist down. "No species questions the Council. We have ruled the galaxy for 15,000 years." But deep down, many Council members felt a new feeling: worry. If humans had been watching them all this time, what had they seen? What did they know? And most importantly, what would they do with that knowledge? The truth was, for the first time in its long history, the mighty Galactic Council was afraid. Not of weapons or armies, but of humans who watched, learned, and stayed silent. "They're studying us," Chancellor Rex shouted. His voice echoed through the Council chamber. His skin changed from blue to dark purple with anger. "Like we're some kind of experiment." The news spread quickly through the Galactic Council. Species that had been part of the Council for hundreds or thousands of years began to worry. What had the humans seen? What did they know? Mordrath, the security chief with rocky skin, stood up. "We must show our power. We should send warships to human areas. They need to learn who rules this galaxy." Councillor Ixel, the old octopus-like alien, waved his tentacles in disagreement. If they have been watching us without us knowing, their technology might be better than we thought. Fighting might be a bad idea. While the council argued, human ships continued their work. They traded with aliens who weren't part of the council. They shared research with independent worlds. They carefully wrote down everything they saw about how the council worked. On a small mining planet called Vega Prime, something important happened. Council inspectors found 2 human engineers, Sharon Clark and Tim Nelson, giving advanced air cleaning technology to the local people. The inspector, a tall insect-like alien, pointed at the machines. "This technology is against council rules under Conservation Law 7B, he said angrily. "You can't share it without permission." Sharon looked confused. She was a young engineer with clever hands and a kind heart. "Against the rules. We didn't know. These people couldn't breathe their own air because of the mining dust." "You need council permission to share any advanced technology," the inspector insisted. Tim Nelson shrugged. He was an older man with gray in his beard and many years of experience. "We don't have any official relationship with your council, so we didn't think your rules apply to us." The inspector reported this to the council. Similar reports came in from all over the galaxy. Humans weren't just ignoring the council, they were actively helping planets that the council had kept dependent and poor. In the council chamber, different alien species started arguing with each other. Species that had joined recently accused the founding members of keeping them weak on purpose. Some demanded to see records of resource distribution that had been kept secret. "The humans are causing chaos," shouted one council member, a floating jellyfish-like creature. "They're turning us against each other." Chancellor Rex tried to keep order, but it was getting harder. For 15,000 years, the council had ruled through a simple system. The oldest, most powerful species got the most benefits, while newer members had to follow strict rules. Now some members were asking uncomfortable questions. Why did the founding species control most of the best planets? Why were new technologies from newer members often classified as restricted? In a private meeting room, the founding species gathered to talk. These were the oldest and most powerful aliens, the ones who had created the council long ago. "This human problem is getting worse," said Triska, leader of the Crystal People. "They're exposing our arrangements. Our careful balance of power," added Vorlon of the Gas Giants. "You mean our lies," said Ixel, surprising everyone. "The humans aren't attacking us with weapons. They're attacking us with truth." Chancellor Rex looked around the room at his fellow founding members. "Then we must stop them before they share that truth with the whole galaxy. If the lesser species learn how we've been controlling them." He didn't finish his sentence. He didn't need to. Everyone in that room knew what would happen to the council if its secrets were revealed. The panic among the leaders was growing, not because humans were violent or aggressive, but because they were something much more dangerous. They were honest. The Galactic Council decided to fight back. They started broadcasting messages to all planets. "Humans are dangerous," they warned. "Do not trust them. Do not trade with them." They made new rules. Any planet that worked with humans would be punished. They couldn't trade with council worlds anymore. The council also sent more military ships to patrol areas where humans were active, but humans didn't fight back with weapons. They fought with information. Steve Campbell was a human intelligence officer. He had sharp eyes and a mind that could solve puzzles quickly. He set up a network of special computers that could catch and read council messages. "The council thinks keeping secrets is power," Steve told his team as they worked in a hidden station near the edge of the galaxy. "We believe sharing information is power." At the same time, Laura Phillips, a human who studied different cultures, wrote detailed reports about how the council really worked. She was a quiet woman with gentle hands, but a strong sense of right and wrong. Her reports showed how the oldest council species controlled the others and took most of the galaxy's resources for themselves. "The truth isn't pretty," Laura said as she finished her latest report, "but people deserve to know it." These reports spread quickly. Planets that weren't part of the Council read them with great interest. Even some planets inside the Council started asking questions. Why did the founding species own 83% of all the best planets? Why were new inventions from newer members often classified as secret and taken away? In the Council Media Center, an alien named Plexvor was in charge of controlling what news spread through the galaxy. He had purple skin that was now pale with worry. "The humans are attacking us with information," he told the Council leaders. "They don't talk to us officially, but they're spreading dangerous ideas everywhere else." In a special emergency meeting, the Council's diplomats showed a worrying report. The humans' silence wasn't because they were afraid or hostile. It was a clever plan. By not officially joining the Council, humans didn't have to follow Council rules, but they were still building relationships with many planets. Then something happened that scared the Council even more. Someone leaked a video recording. It showed human diplomat Nicole Wright meeting with leaders from 30 planets that weren't in the Council. Nicole was a tall woman with dark skin and a calm, confident voice. In the recording, she spoke to the alien leaders. "Earth doesn't want to replace the Council," she explained. "We just believe information should be shared freely. We believe in helping each other without strict rules about who can have what technology. Each species should decide its own future." The Council leaders watched this recording in horror. Their worst fear was coming true. Humans weren't trying to join their system. They were creating a completely different one. Chancellor Rex called together his most trusted advisors. "The humans are turning planets against us. They're revealing our secrets, and they're offering a different way to organize the galaxy." An advisor with glowing skin asked, "What can we do?" "Fight them." "They've done nothing we can call an act of war," replied another advisor. "They just talk to people, share things, help planets we've kept weak." The information war continued. The Council tried to paint humans as dangerous and primitive, but humans kept spreading facts, data, and evidence. On 100 planets, people began to wonder if the mighty Council was so afraid of humans simply sharing information. Perhaps the Council itself was the real problem. "The humans have a saying," whispered one alien to another on a distant trade world. "The truth will set you free." For 2 years, humans had spread across the galaxy. They had watched, learned, and shared information. The Galactic Council was losing control. Many planets now questioned their rules. Some even threatened to leave. Chancellor Rex paced in his private chamber. His 6 eyes blinked nervously. His blue skin had turned almost gray with worry. "This cannot continue," he said to his advisors. "These humans are destroying 15,000 years of order." After a long meeting, the Council made a decision. They would force humans to join them or face war. Chancellor Rex wrote a message that was sent to every human ship, station, and colony. Earth must send official representatives to Galactic Central within 30 days to begin formal membership procedures. If you refuse, the Council will declare humans a hostile species. This will allow us to use military force against you. For 2 years, humans had been silent toward the Council. They had never answered official messages. They had never acknowledged Council authority. But this time was different. For the first time, humans responded officially. Admiral Ben Mitchell stood on the bridge of Earth's largest defense ship, the Defender. He was a tall man with a strong face and calm eyes that had seen many battles. But today, he wasn't preparing for war. He was making history. "Send the message to all Council channels," he ordered. "Make sure every species in the galaxy can hear it." His communications officer nodded and pressed the broadcast button. Ben's voice rang out across thousands of worlds. "The United Earth Government acknowledges receipt of the Council ultimatum. We have finished our observation period. We have gathered enough information to make a decision about galactic relations. Earth representatives will arrive at Galactic Central in 28 days. Thank you for your patience during our assessment period." Throughout Council space, aliens listened to this message with mixed feelings. Some felt relief. Finally, humans would talk. Others felt worried. What had humans decided after watching them for so long? At Galactic Central, workers rushed to prepare for the historic meeting. They changed the council chambers to make them comfortable for humans. They installed special chairs, adjusted the air temperature, and added water stations. Security was increased to the highest level ever. Guards stood at every door. Scanning devices checked for weapons. The council wasn't taking any chances with these unpredictable humans. The founding species held emergency meetings. These were the oldest and most powerful aliens who had created the council long ago. "We must stand together against these humans," Chancellor Rex told them. "They threaten everything we've built." "What if they know too much?" asked a reptilian counselor, his scales clicking with anxiety. "What if they reveal our secrets to the galaxy?" "Then we must discredit them," Rex replied. "Make them look primitive and dangerous. The lesser species will believe us. They always have." 28 days later, a human ship arrived at Galactic Central. It was smaller than expected, with a simple design that somehow seemed more advanced than Council technology. It had no weapons showing, but sensors suggested powerful shields. The human delegation walked into the Council chambers. Leading them was United Earth President Christina Walsh, a woman with silver hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. With her were representatives from different Earth nations and colonies. Chancellor Rex stood at the center of the room, surrounded by 200 alien representatives. He tried to look confident, but his hands shook slightly. "Welcome to Galactic Central," he said formally. "The Council acknowledges humanity's acceptance of integration protocols." President Walsh smiled, but her eyes remained serious. "Thank you, Chancellor. However, I should clarify something important. We're not here to accept integration. We're here to propose an alternative." A shocked silence fell across the chamber. This was not what anyone expected. The council chamber erupted with noise. Aliens of 200 different species shouted, clicked, whistled, and roared in surprise and anger. "Silence," Chancellor Rex yelled, pounding his fist on the central podium. President Christina Walsh remained calm. She was used to difficult meetings. Before becoming Earth's leader, she had been a diplomat for 30 years. She knew how to handle tense situations. "We thank you for your invitation," she said when the noise died down. "But after careful study, we cannot join the current council system." She nodded to her team. Eric Turner, the vice president, stepped forward and activated a small device. Suddenly, large screens around the chamber lit up. They showed videos, documents, and data charts. "For 2 years, we've observed," Walsh continued, looking around the chamber. "We've seen how the council works. We've documented how founding species take most resources, while newer members stay poor. We've seen how you restrict technology to keep some worlds dependent on others." The evidence was clear on the screens. Secret council documents showed how they limited medical technology on newer member worlds. Trade agreements revealed how founding species took valuable minerals at low prices. Military files showed how council ships stopped planets from trading with each other directly. "This is an outrage," shouted one council member, a tall alien with crystal skin. "These are private council matters." "Exactly the problem," replied Walsh. "Things that affect billions of beings shouldn't be private. They should be open for all to see and discuss." Vice President Eric Turner stepped forward. He was younger than Walsh, with a strong voice that carried through the chamber. "Humanity doesn't reject cooperation," he said clearly. "We reject a system where a few benefit at the expense of many." Julia Martins, Earth's diplomatic director, joined them. She had dark hair and keen eyes that missed nothing. "We propose something different," she explained. "A galactic commons where information is shared freely, where technology helps everyone, not just the powerful, where each world keeps its freedom while working together on common problems." "And who would lead this? Commons?" asked Chancellor Rex, his voice dripping with doubt. "No one species would control it," Walsh answered. "Decisions would be made together, openly." "This is madness," Rex shouted. The Council has kept peace for 15,000 years. Has it? President Walsh asked quietly. Or has it kept power for founding species through control and secrecy? Our silence wasn't hostile, Chancellor. We needed to understand the full situation before suggesting changes. Walsh turned to address all the aliens in the chamber. 67 worlds have already expressed interest in our model, including 12 current council members. Gasps and whispers spread through the room. Council members looked at each other with suspicion, wondering which among them planned to leave. The human delegation departed shortly after, leaving the council in chaos. Some members shouted for military action against Earth. Others demanded to see more of the evidence humans had gathered. Many began arguing with each other about resource distribution and technology restrictions. In the following months, the galaxy changed quickly. Dozens of planets officially left the Council to join what was now called the Galactic Commons. They were mostly newer council members who had always resented the founding species' control. The humans had achieved something remarkable. Without firing a single shot, they had transformed the galaxy's power structure. The oldest empire in known space was falling apart, not from attacks but from the simple power of truth and choice. As Walsh told her team when they returned to Earth, the greatest weapon isn't a warship or a bomb. It's information freely shared, and the courage to use it wisely. The Council had mistaken human silence for weakness or fear. They never understood that humans were simply gathering the most powerful resource in the universe, knowledge. And then they did the one thing the Council never expected. They shared it with everyone.